I'ma get it. You know I be on the way. Yeah. You know I be on the way. Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on the way.
What's up, and welcome to another exciting adventure of Ride the Rebellion podcast. The first episode of 2024. You guys thought we were canceled, but no, somehow Twitter has not, what is it called now? X?
X gonna give it to you.
Gonna give it to you.
X has not destroyed us. We have a very special episode today because it is chocked full of wonderful human beings. First off, we have this person. It's a black screen because she doesn't have a camera.
Hello.
Introducing world-renowned black screen artist.
In this corner.
That's a lot of pressure.
But we
reel
gave her a
back little
microphone
bit.
this week.
We
so
did give her
there's
a
that.
mic. She is hot on the mic. We have the world famous teener, Justina from Justina.
Yes.
From Washington
Industries.
with lice. Inside joke. Moments
Yeah.
before the show started.
Mayonnaise.
It's fine. It's gone now.
Also with me is the king of the South Alabama Turndown, the legend of Bagger Vance's best friend, the Bag.
Advance.
Mayonnaise, there's a lot of jokes in there.
Dale Boyd of Dale Boyd's Schwartz Management, FAO Schwartz
The
Management.
best part about that, and I don't know if I've said it on the pod, I probably have, but people actually ask me what the sports management thing means.
That's fantastic.
And I have to tell them.
I don't even know
What does it
means.
mean?
It means it's a degree I own,
Oh.
not the deodorant.
Just a degree. And we'll get to our special guest in 1 second because first, it's the new year and we've got to talk about the sponsors that we still have. In the last episode, we
trashed them.
We attempted to get removed by every sponsor, but I'm proud to say that most of them have stuck it out with us.
Mm-hmm.
They're running the mile. They're running the extra mile.
They're going to take you to the summit.
Damn, that was good. You spun it back on me.
I know.
I was giving you an easy tee up. And they're going to help you take it to some. Yeah, we're talking about Summit Bike Academy, where you can learn to ride a bike and not run at all.
No, because you're going to learn how to run at Run and Try when you get off the bike.
That's absolutely correct. And here's the thing. Once you have a bike or a good running set, you're going to need to build it, you're going to need to tune it, and you're going to need to ride it, whatever it might be. It's also
BTR.
BTR.
That's right.
Oh.
When
I
you-
had to check myself for the rating of this episode. I was checking the screen for the rating, and I looked at it, and it said PG-13, and I was like, this joke might go past that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, once you get done at BTR, you'll be such a badass that you have to hippity hoppity right over to Man of War tattoo and get tatted up so that you can prove to everyone how tough you are.
Because the truth is, if you're a mountain biker and you don't have 26 tattoos on your right arm,
Just
you're
the right
nothing.
one.
Does anyone in this room have tattoos? Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't.
I have a stick
Yeah.
figure.
Air high five.
I do not.
I have a stick figure from Man of War tattoo.
Oh.
Yeah, we're actually contractually not allowed to show.
Don't.
Yeah,
tattoo.
and
Can
just
only show
because
his head.
Kevin last week was not kidding. He was like, please don't show that.
Yeah.
And
It's
so we
good,
took it
though.
as
It
It's
really
one
is
of my
good.
favorite tattoos you have. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I switched to Eric because I was thinking I was going to switch to Justina, but she's not there. And then with us today, joining us for the very first time ever on the show, I'm going to preface this to say, so I heard a lot about Eric Hagan from Dale, and it was good stuff, dude. Don't worry about it.
Oh, good.
But what I didn't understand is like, he talked about, oh God, Eric, he's so loud and fun and gets a bullhorn. He lives in his van. I mean, all these things that are like,
He's like, is it Chris Farley?
yeah, it's like, is this mildly questionable who this human being is? And then I experienced Eric. Honestly, the first time I ever met him was at Bumpin Grind of last year.
Yeah.
That
Both
was the
of them.
first
Bump
time.
and grind.
Bump and the Grind. And he comes out with all these wacky bicycles. If you guys haven't watched that episode, you can see the Todd attempting to steal the show in the background.
he
And then I get
didn't
to
do
spend time with him at Jank Fest because Bump and Grind, we were working, so it was a little bit different thing. And I got to spend time with him at Jank Fest, and
Yep.
man, he's one of the human. So there's a few people that have been on this show that I am grateful that this show has let me meet certain people. One of them is Nixon. The other one is Eric Hagan.
Oh, man.
And like knowing him has enriched my life. I can walk away knowing that at some point in my life, I can tell a story about him or think about him or just have a bad day and just channel him. But for whatever reason, I am grateful as a human being to know him. And I would like to introduce that guy
Thank you.
there, Eric Hagan.
There's no way I can follow that. It was like It's like I'm the preacher, and you just gave like my introduction, and I don't have a
Or your
sermon.
eulogy. And that's the episode.
was a
Thanks for
great guy.
watching.
wow.
Dale, just remember what Dale Boyd says.
Eric is the best.
Thank you. We always wanted to hear our eulogy, and I think I just heard it, so I can die now. Thank you.
Well, wow. We went
We don't
morbid in
want
24, folks. Welcome to the 24.
Welcome to 2024. Yep.
Wait, have I experienced Eric more than you?
Whoa. Good
I
morning.
think you did. Did you
I
hang
went to
out?
the race with Carrie, and you were at the race with Carrie.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
race was terrible.
Oh,
For
yes.
me, unprepared,
Yes.
barely riding.
Yeah.
It was. I lost a piece of my soul.
What?
Up on the mountain a couple
where
times?
was that?
Cold water.
No, it wasn't. It was not the one. It wasn't cold
No,
water,
but
but it
it
was
was
right next to it. It was
It
like
was the attack on Magellan's
Oh,
wand.
yeah.
Shred
Fort,
for
yeah,
Sloan.
Yeah, Fort McClellan. Yeah, Fort McClellan. Yes, that
So
was an
I know
amazing.
you more than he does.
Well, right, because y'all raced and I did not.
Air high five.
Yeah, that's
Suck it, Drew.
That is actually what I enjoy doing. Is I like to go to these bike events
Yep.
and not touch my bike. That's
That's
what I do.
heard. But that's what I heard about you is that
I don't touch my bike?
Someone said no. If you want to experience a real style hype man, you've got to meet. And I'm not making that up.
Listen.
and you're a legitimate real hype man.
Okay, so I won't mention Butch's name, but at Bumpin Grind, so like Scott comes up to me, he goes, "Hey man,"
Scott Vickery,
no, Scott Pruitt.
Scott Pruitt. Got
Yeah,
it.
he's like, "Hey man, will you can drive the truck?" And I was like, "Okay, for how long?" He goes, "Until 5." Scott, it's 12 o'clock. Like, so now I'm driving the truck for 5 hours? And he was like, "Yeah." Well, so anyway, about 3 hours in, Butch stops the truck. He goes, "Hey man, can you make an announcement?" I was like, and I look over at the pavilion, and there's like 15 volunteers, but yet Butch wanted me to make the announcement. So I was like, yeah, I guess. So I stopped the truck, make an announcement, and keep going. So yeah, talk about hype. There's your hype.
No, it's absolute fact of like, if you guys haven't experienced, you will know Eric because you have heard him if you've been around any of those events. And you travel most of the state.
Yeah.
Not so much down here because we don't have that much stuff.
You got some good stuff. This is where I cut my teeth. I mean, I've been biking, and I guess we can get into that. But yeah, I've been biking for 35 plus years, and
Oh, geez.
this is it. I mean, before I knew, this is where I started wearing a helmet. And I think everyone has that moment where they're biking, and then they're like, but we better start wearing a helmet. And Mobile, I lived in Mobile in my high school years. This is where I started wearing a helmet, was on Chickasaw and South Al. Chickasaw used to be a One Direction. And then
Now it's no direction.
Now it's no direction. You don't ride at Chickasaw. And
No, we want to.
yeah, I would love to.
It's straight clothes, though.
Yeah. But yeah, I love me some Mobile. But I don't. You're right. I never come down here.
Well, it's not. I don't even think it's that in a negative way. I'm just saying there's not like a lot of events down here. I mean, where you're covered, the chunk of state that you. Let's backtrack for a second. One of the things that you do is it is in fact true. You live in a van, not down by the river.
Sometimes it's by a river, but it's I don't. I don't fall on coffee tables.
That's correct. You know Matt Foley.
Yeah.
So the fact that you, like, that's your home rolls with you. So the fact that you're able to do that, though, does mean that you do end up kind of exploring a lot more of the South across the way. I mean, What is that like? What is it like? Let's backtrack for a second.
Okay.
There's so many people that have the fantasy of doing what you're doing.
Yep.
I'm included in that.
And those people will knock on my door at the Walmart parking lot. So I know their fantasy because they're like, "Do you live in that? Is that thing got a toilet?" You know, the number one question I get asked is, "How do I take a shower?" And I'm here to tell you, I start at my head. I usually shampoo my head and then I wash my face and I work down. That's how I take a shower. It always confuses them because I'm like, does that not answer your question? But
I do the same, so well done.
so I have had a bunch of really cool cars in my lifetime, but this van, you can be 80 or you can be 8, and everyone wants to see it. Everybody wants to see it. So if you want to draw attention, go get yourself a Sprinter van and make it look like a camper.
Which is important if you're partially a hype man.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's a fair statement.
I mean, I don't I don't get paid to be a hype man though. That's it. I mean,
Hey,
I think if someone can figure out a way for me to make money doing it,
Dude, I've been saying that forever. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not on your level of hype man because I get angry too often. But I always say that I have a certain set of skills that makes me no money. A certain
I'm
set of
very
skills
good at
that
not
pays
making-
no bills.
well, I mean, I think the pandemic has kind of exposed my secret is I like to buy high and sell low. So that's and the pandemic has really kind of exposed that. I buy everything like super high and then I'm like, oh shit, I'm broke. And then I'm like, oh, I better sell it and then virtually give it away. You know?
Now that we all know that definitely happened during the pandemic.
Oh,
side
yeah,
of
it's
things.
bad.
Like, especially in the bike world.
Bikes-
I'm guilty of it right now. I'm dealing with it. I just bought a new bike, and
Yeah.
somebody's like, "Well, why'd you buy a new bike?" Because I was like, the frame was $1,800, the whole bike was $2,600. Like, and then the guy gave me $150 off because I called in and placed a credit card order,
Yes.
and my
Yeah.
credit card was stolen later. But that's okay.
I mean, I got
You
friends,
got the bike.
I
got
got
a
friends
bike.
selling brand new, well, not brand new bikes, they're used bikes for more than you can go into a bike shop and buy off the showroom floor.
Right.
Because Pivot right now has like a 25% discount.
Yeah, it's huge. I bought
it's
an Ibis,
huge.
and it was a massive. It was 25% on Ibis
Yeah,
too.
and people, when people bought it at a markup, now they're trying to sell it because it's only been ridden 10 miles because they realized they hated bicycles.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah,
Well, that's the real interesting side of it. The number of people that like bought these high-end bikes and then turn around and they want their money back out of them, and it's like it's not going to happen.
Not gonna happen.
Sorry, pal, you didn't get an emergency
Right.
purchase. All right, so can you talk? Is van life all it's cracked up to be, or is the struggle of van life in moments? Because it is romantic. The outsider, it's romantic. I assure you, it's
if
romantic.
the van is rocking, I'm not home. Someone has broken into my van and they're doing romantic things in it. Yeah, I mean, romantic to me is like pulling, because it's a diesel, pulling up to the pump and being like, yes, it's at 349. That's romantic.
Right.
Yeah, that's it for me. But no, it's great. I personally love it. I have lived in small environments my entire adulthood. I have been homeless. I have lived on couches. I have lived, if you're familiar with Auburn and Wire Road, there are 800 square foot homes, like upstairs, downstairs, and I owned one of them. And then when I sold it, I moved into a buddy's. The last decade prior to a van, I lived in my RV, diesel pusher RV. So, yeah,
Can I ask why you were homeless? Like that. Sorry, that stood out to me. I'm just. If
so-
it's too personal, it's okay.
No, it's not personal at all. I mean, it's personal, but I'm the youngest of 5, and at one point in time, 3 of us lived in Seattle, and raised by a single mom, and she moved out to Seattle, and then I was living with her. It was my second year of college. I was going to Bishop State. Shout out to the Bishop Stadians.
State,
Yeah.
BSCC, boy.
Yeah, what is their mascot? But
Trojans, I think.
Of course, it's the Trojans.
Is it?
I don't.
No, they only have a basketball team.
They've grown.
Oh, they have.
Bishop State is like they're crushing it right now.
Okay, yeah.
Super high attendance. They've really accelerated. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we had to attend. We had to attend. You literally couldn't skip. I went from Auburn and then I came back down. But so yeah, that's actually was the time period. Yeah, my mom decided she was going to move out to Seattle, and I had no place to go. So I was basically homeless for about 6 months, just moving from here to there, and yeah, I mean that's it. I always had a place to stay because I guess when you're a hype man like me, there's a lot of people who like, please come stay with us, and so I always had a place to stay, but it wasn't home. I didn't have a house.
Yeah,
So-
that's one. It's interesting you bring that up. I mean, I think it is definitely one of those. Do you feel like that prepared you being somewhat nomadic?
Yeah,
is
yeah.
what you were?
Oh yeah, 100%.
And now you're 100% really nomadic, but
Yeah.
you're stably nomadic. You're not under pressure of nomad. Like of external forces. You're doing this because you choose to do this. It wasn't like a situation.
I
Do you
am
think
not a
that
hunter. I'm a
benefited you?
gatherer, is what you're saying. Yeah.
You can be whatever you want.
I don't really hunt. I can't sit still long enough.
It's actually 2024 now, so you can 100% be whatever you want.
That's all. Yeah, that's also.
Welcome
I
to the
can
new
only
year,
imagine
baby.
though, and I'm not a hunter. I can only imagine Eric hunting, knowing him, and he's like, "Hey, deer!" He's got a bullhorn. Deer, come here.
Yeah.
Is that all you
He's
got?
got
Yeah.
He's got really cool sunglasses on though while he's doing
Bring
it.
all the dough to the yard. You know. Yeah. Bring it, baby.
This deer's
Yeah.
about to full send it, boy.
Yeah.
He's just
Oh
out there
dear.
barking.
Oh deer.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah. It's I tried to hunt once, so I mean, I'm not a hunter. I'm definitely not a fisher, unless you consider filet-o-fish. I can catch them, but I was out on the boat with my brother and one of my good friends once, and it took me 30 minutes to realize that I had not brought a rod and reel. We had all of our adult sodas with us, and I'm probably 3 deep into them, and I'm like, I guess I'm going, wet the bobber. I start looking around, and I'm like, did anybody bring my rod and reel? So I just kept drinking. Yeah,
Someone's got to drive the boat.
someone has to drive the boat.
So is there anything that like when you're traveling or trying to decide where you're going to go? Because like to sit down with us, it was like, all right. He asked me, he's like, when's Eric? I was like, I don't know where he is. And I messaged him, and you're like, I think I'm on my way to Coldwater.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, you want to divert? So is it ever you get pulled in too many directions where you're like, man, I just want to go do this because that's what I want to do?
Pretty much. If it ends in day, I get pulled in multiple directions. And that's kind of, you and I talked prior to Christmas. I was like, yeah, I'll come down after Christmas. Well, in that 48-hour span, now there's a thing going on. It's at Coldwater. It's going to be passed, but it's Noah Warren and his buddy are competing for the Cape Epic. Cape Epic is the world's largest mountain bike race. I mean, it's the equivalent to the Tour de France, and it is in South Africa at the Cape, and it's like an 8-stage, 8-day, 8-stage, brutal. I mean, it is brutal. It'll make grown men bawl and cry. I've seen it.
Sick.
It is sick. So if you've never seen it, you guys got to take an opportunity to go watch it. And I think you can watch it online if you want to. But they are practicing. They are doing mock stages for the next 8 days, and they just did their prologue today. They'll be at Coldwater tomorrow, and they're coming back to Oak Mountain. And then I know y'all have seen the hype. Camp Thunder on the 30th is where they're kind of doing it for the public, and anybody can come. And it's going to be Bump, it's going to be Chain Busters. It's all these people are coming together to support them and try our hands at a stage, at a Cape Epic stage, which none of us are going to survive. We're talking 60 plus miles a day. Oh,
Good
and
grief.
you have partners that you have to compete together with.
Yeah, you have to finish within a certain.
You have to finish within I don't know the minutes, but it's that has happened where the stronger of the team finished, but the weak guy did not, and they didn't. You don't get to advance to the next stage.
What does Cape Epic mean?
Cape is like Cape Town,
Yeah,
like South Africa.
Okay.
So it's at South Africa, and Epic is just
Epic.
everything
epic.
that's.
I didn't know if
epic.
that was
everything
like
that's Riz.
a code for some sort of type of race.
Yeah,
So I didn't know what was happening.
this belt is epic.
Your face is epic too.
Oh, thank you,
You're
thank
welcome.
you. I
So
only get that at the Walmart.
we last year when they're trying to get in your van.
When they're trying to get
Okay, yeah. Don't pause
Do
it
you
in
keep-
your.
do you
You gotta
keep
get in your van. Don't go try to get in your.
Well, it's like double meaning there.
Dot 3, 2, 1 van.
So we did the epic last year, Skyway Epic.
Yes.
Yeah, we partied
Oh,
out there, and
that was epic.
that was epic.
Yeah.
Now everybody wants to join the epic. I said we got to start passing out wristbands to get people in.
We actually we didn't get in trouble, but we had to clarify things that it's an unofficial endorsed scenario because
Yeah.
what you guys created was a culture moment.
Yeah, it was big.
And that's what I think you do a lot of. And I think, no, seriously, I think it's amazing. You create these great culture. Make sure that turn that mic so it's
In my face.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
Okay, we got it.
the culture moment side of things is that's huge. I mean, people ask us, they've talked about it, and they wonder where are these idiots, these two guys from South Alabama that have,
Yeah.
I'm not Ric Flairin, but we have a fairly successful podcast. We have a lot.
Well-
It's because we built a great culture moment. What we don't have in trails, we're going to build up in having a good time with you. And that's what you bring that.
Yeah.
You literally have a van that drives around and delivers culture. Where does that come from? Where does this desire to basically you lift people up
Or
Where
energy.
They were wrong.
Well, I come from a big family, and being the youngest of 5, we were not like it absolutely was not like a Leave It to Beaver. I mean, we struggled, but one of the things was like we were so loud, and I guess I give this example is if the bathroom door was closed, that meant nobody was in it. So if you were a guest of mine and you went into the bathroom and closed the door, well, that gave carte blanche for any one of my family members to open the door while you were in the bathroom doing whatever you do in the bathroom.
Oh no.
And that was quite hysterical. So it was every time it was hysterical. You got to lock the door when you go in the bathroom. But no, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm just loud. A lot of people, if you know me intimately, you know, I know this is going to sound weird, but I'm a little bit shy. I was a shy child, and I think that it's not necessarily this is absolutely my personality that you see, but it's just when I hit the scene, I guess I
Maybe
blow up.
that's the way you break down the wall of being shot. Like,
I love it.
Let's all make the first impression so that no one else can make a first impression.
I'm a loud person. If I don't know that y'all, I've never ridden with any of y'all.
Me? I think we rode together.
Okay, I'm loud on the trail.
Yeah.
Like I'm literally yelling at the top of my lungs because it's fun. I enjoy going out there and yelling. And I've had people be like, "Why do you know everyone on the trail?" I'm like, "I don't. I'm just saying hey to them."
Right.
And if you don't say hey
That's
back, I still have
fantastic,
the
though.
conversation with people who don't open their mouths. I'm like, "How you doing?" as they roll by and don't say anything. I'm like, "Good, thanks."
Eric, you could get the women to go into the woods with you.
Wow.
Or van.
Who said I
Or
hadn't? I'm just kidding. I did. They hunt?
We need
Women
to get
hunt?
more women in Mobile. We need you to ride our trails.
He would take him fishing, but he'd forget his pole.
Yes.
And if anyone's keeping score at home, those are euphemisms, kids. The word is a euphemism.
That's right. There is no doubt
here-
there is going to be a lot of kids watching this. So I personally want to keep it PG.
We did.
18.
We did straight Disney right
I
there.
love it. I love
That was
it.
a
did real
straight
well. We
Disney.
did
That
real
was
well.
great.
We put it,
I'm a
it's
Disney
out there.
expert at this point.
Well, think about Scooby
your
Doo
couple
and
of
all
days.
and all the innuendos watching Scooby Doo as an adult now. You're like, how
Absolutely.
did I miss that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we're doing.
So speaking of this side of things, a lot of the stuff you do is race support in the sense of like you're hyping up a race, you're
Yeah.
there for that stuff,
Yeah.
and so it varies. Obviously, would you argue that would you say that your base of operations is Birmingham at
Yeah.
the moment?
Yeah, I'd say that.
So that's a
fair.
lot of affiliation with Bump. Bump is one of the bigger regions that we have. No
Yeah.
offense to Monte Santo and the guys up in Huntsville. I don't know their club name.
Love them. Hammer.
Hammer.
Yeah, Hammer.
Yep.
Huntsville area mountain riders. Hammer.
Why do we all have to? Why do these guys try to just
I
have
don't
a
know.
simple name like
Bump, that's
Huntsville
right.
Mountain Bikes?
Yeah, yeah. Hummer.
Well, they probably would have done ham, but it was already a thing.
It's good. And we got him.
But they could go
No, you-
ham.
we got
No,
him for Christmas.
The Jalopy Journal.
Oh,
You're a car guy.
okay.
Never seen it?
No, I'm a truck guy. I'm not a car
Well,
guy.
ham was like it was an online forum back in the day. Whatever.
Oh.
It's good.
Yeah.
We're good.
No.
Moving on.
So up there, like obviously the racing scene's bigger. We don't have any of that. Not just on the adult side, but
Yeah.
like where it's really big is seeing like in the development of like the youth racing leagues and all that stuff. What is that? What is it like in that sense? Because I think most of those kids know you, and you're like an unofficial. I wouldn't say coach, but I think you're kind of an unofficial coach.
Well, and to that point, ACA, Alabama Cycling Association, formerly NICA, is it's really it's the youth league, and that is the future. It's the present. It's also the future. Oak Mountain is unique. Oak Mountain is definitely magical, and in a sense that there's not many South trailheads in the entire United States that any given weekend will have 5,000 riders, and there will be weekends that South Trailhead has that many riders. It's just a unique place. In the 90s, if you mountain biked in the 90s, that meant you had subscriptions to I think 6 mountain bike magazines. Oak Mountain.
Jakey Poo.
Yeah.
I had them all, and I used to have them in boxes until I moved. I'm like, what am I going to do with like 15 boxes of magazines, like Mountain Bike Action, bicycling, mountain bike, all of them. Dirt Rag was one of them. They were all, but the crazy thing about it was there weren't that many places to ride then. I say that now, even though we thought there were a bunch. There were times where Oak Mountain was in the top 10 places to ride in the U.S. I mean, it was that phenomenal. NORBA, National Off-Road Bicycle Association, they're the ones who were like, hey, look, we want to do a race. And they kind of prompted Bump to really go, oh, look, let's do this Bumpin Grind thing. And it was huge. I mean, we would go up. I remember the first couple of ones we felt like we weren't worthy, whether it be coming from Auburn or Mobile, we'd still go there and hype them up because there were legit national pros at those races.
Crazy.
Tinker Juarez, in fact. There's a guy who actually builds vans now, but he used to be an elite level world class mountain biker, and he won it a few times. I would love to see those guys come back to see, kind of get like a senior class, senior ex-pro class.
Sick would that be?
It would be amazing. Because Tinker showed up at, Auburn had a UC Marathon Nats earlier this year. Tinker was there. I mean, Tinker used to ride for Cannondale, raced in the Olympics and in '96 at Atlanta, the first mountain bike Olympic race. So it was... But yeah, to your point about being at the races and all the kids being there, there's no better, to me, race venue than the ACA races. If you want to see hype and if you want to see good spirit and just good energy, positive energy, go to one of those races. I was told for years to kind of stay away from it because it's a bunch of kids and a bunch of parents, but I finally went because all the parents are my age. I don't have kids, but so I kind of feel like they're all my kids now. But they were. I went for the first time, and it was euphoric. Walking through the pits was like the energy was just so electric, and everybody was having a good time. I'm like, why did I stay away from this? This is what mountain biking should be. It was amazing. There was no animosity except for when you get like parents over there in the corner. Mm-hmm. But the kids, the energy the kids are giving off is just absolutely amazing. So one of the things about me is whatever energy you give me is whatever you get back. So if you're giving off good energy, I'm going to give it right back. So, and I think people feel that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, when we were up in Bump, one of the things that are up at Bump, up in for Bumpin Grind, up in Birmingham, I was floored at the number of kids that were competing and riding in Bumpin Grind. And these kids, it's not that I assume I'm older, I ride better. That's not my mentality. But watching these kids perform so well, and then again, shameless free plug for our sponsor because they weren't the sponsor at the time, but there's all these kids wearing this red and black jersey.
Yes.
From Build to Ride. And
yes.
These kids were
shredded.
It is unreal. And there's footage. I have footage of some of these kids that didn't make the cut, that these kids are hitting stuff so well. You watch their line, and as somebody who watches, I enjoy downhill.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching a lot of downhill. These kids are on the same level as I mean, they're hitting lines with precision. And it is absolutely amazing to watch them. And they're just young guys.
Yeah.
They happen to have a sponsor, good for them. But that's a real culture up there.
Oh, they're awesome.
When we were growing up, down here, you begged. And you wanted nothing more than Interlight, which was a local skate shop, to sponsor you as a skateboarder. And that was your only way. That was it. And every once in a while, there'd be a couple of guys. Tony Hawk skated here a few times. They'd come through. But up there, these kids are sponsored and endorsed, and they're thrashing. I'm a fan of them, so I get your point. I mean, I've become a fanboy more of their space.
And you see them in the parking lot. I mean, they're wheelie smooth. I mean, they might as well not even have their front tire on their bicycle because it never touches the ground. They're just wheeling from one corner to another and turning around while they're wheeling. Yeah. That's what they do. Track standing, all of it. I leave my door open at the South Trailhead, and then they're not like gnats, but they kind of act like gnats where they just swarm and they're just around. That's the South Trailhead up at Oak Mountain is electric in my opinion. It's a place to see and be seen, and you absolutely. I mean, it's funny how you'll go take an hour ride and people will be like, let's just circle back. It's kind of like when you're a teenager and you're riding around on cars and you circle back at the Hardee's every hour.
Yep.
That's the South Trailhead.
Yep.
That is exactly
we do it at
what
the
that
Reb,
is.
Though. We'll ride around at the Reb and be like, oh, we got to go back up and see if anybody else is here.
Yeah, see who's up top.
It was Dale Shamps on Airport when I
Yes,
was
it
going.
was.
Yeah,
Yes, it
that's
was,
where.
sir.
Yeah, that
Sure
that
was.
was some of my friends with some of those 15s in the back.
Yeah, boy,
Yeah.
we spent a lot of time up
Yeah,
there.
boom. Yeah, boom. Yeah.
I had one of the first. I had one of the first Subaru WRXs in the city, and
Oh,
mine
wow.
was a wagon, so it was even more rare.
Okay.
I was a nerd enough to. I wanted to get my groceries really fast, is what people used to say, and so I was up in that parking lot all the time.
Right behind the Crystal.
Oh God, yes, sir.
Yep. That was
Yeah,
it.
That was a spot.
Yep. My brother had a studio apartment right off of campus, South Alabama's campus. So we worked at Bebo's Car Wash. He did. So did I. And that was my getaway. In high school, I would stay at his house. So we won't talk about what we did. It was a fun time
They
in Mobile.
washed cars.
We washed cars by day
You're right.
and didn't do much of anything at night.
What is your
Crossword
vibe on,
puzzles.
What is your vibe on the world of mountain biking now? I mean, if you've been in for 35 years, which is impressive, then you've seen a lot of stuff come and go. I mean, it's not just about. A lot of times, mountain biking is the opposite of me and Dale. We're not tech heads. And so a lot of times we get in these conversations and the immediate draw is like, well, the dropper post. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think we had the guy from Single Tracks on, and that's his biggest thing is he was talking about tech all the time.
Yeah.
Because that's what he does is review tech, right?
Jeff Barber.
Jeff Barber.
Oh,
Do you
okay.
know Jeff?
Oh,
No.
he didn't listen then. He probably needs to go
Oh,
back.
I'll gladly introduce you. Jeff's fantastic.
Yeah,
he's
you would-
super smart, but he's a very tech driven guy because he runs a they review stuff, they review products, and he's
Okay.
been in the business for a
Yeah.
while. So at 35 years in, what do you see? I mean, what is the future looking like? Because it's obviously the pandemic kind of jacked things up.
Oh yeah.
And
No,
so-
I think that obviously, the faux pas word these days is e-bike, but e-bikes are causing people to ride longer.
Yeah.
An e-bike in your 40s and after is like you're riding in your 20s again. And I remember when we were riding here in Mobile way back in the 90s. We were at Chicxulub and we had a group of 5 or 6 people. I saw my first RockShox Judy out there, and I quickly turned around and chased him down just so I could talk about it. And he wasn't going to stop, but I made him stop. I'm like, look, I was going to sell something. I know you know how to sell things. Yeah, that's when
peddle things.
I met Dale at South Alabama the same way. He
Oh,
saw
yeah.
that I was riding there, and he waited in the parking lot and jumped out of the bushes. He says, "I'm Dale Boyd." I was like,
Actually, that is where we met.
"That's yeah."
I didn't
So,
realize that's where y'all met.
oh yeah, he stalked me. He knew that
stalked
I was out there
everybody.
riding with my buddy from high school. We went out there. We sat on the toilet on the trail. Y'all know what toilet I'm
I
talking
know what
about.
toilet
Yeah,
you're
there's a
talking
toilet out there.
There's multiple. 3. Actually.
Both of my sisters lived in Hillsboro. So,
Oh, yeah.
Hillsdale.
Hillsdale, sorry. Yeah. Hillsboro is a neighborhood in
That's
Birmingham.
up your way. Yeah, that's up your way. Hillsdale's where. Yeah,
Hillsdale, yeah. So, I know what goes on in those woods. So that was like,
I will
not.
tell you, I spent a lot of time in Hillsdale.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you right now. I'll just come forward. I know this is a PG-13 episode, so prepare yourself for this, but this is the truth.
Yeah.
A lot of D&D.
Okay.
So much Dungeons and Dragons, it was nuts. We were playing D&D.
I was like,
Oh,
I'm glad you said
I didn't know where you were
Dungeons-
about to go with that.
When you
It's
said
like, I know it's a PG.
you said D&D, and I'm thinking like, man, that was some chains and handcuffs.
Whoa, bro.
And then you said Dungeons and Dragons. I was like, no, those dudes never saw chains or handcuffs.
I have a good laugh.
Not in that
Anytime I can work
context.
in a little bit of nerdery because I am more nerd than Dale.
I am
And it's
not, man.
I have to interpret to
Yeah.
the sports guy. He's like, oh, I don't. What is D&D? What is a lightsaber?
No.
Like, why do you have Darth Vader's lightsaber in a box? Like, what is that even? What is that?
Oh,
What was the-
that's a lightsaber, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I
you
thought
don't
it was
know
something
either.
completely
So
different. I thought it was a
what
scope.
there was a movie we just.
Is that not? Is that not? That don't go on your Alt 360?
No, sir. No, sir.
I just made that up. I don't even know what an Alt 360 is.
But somewhere Bug is crying a tear as he walks down the road and someone threw trash at him. That's how
Yeah.
sad. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know anything about long guns. No, just short guns. Or is that handguns?
Yeah, I don't know either.
yeah.
Either way,
Yeah.
No, we were just talking about a movie the other day about something, and I was like, "Is this really how Dungeons and Dragons is?"
Yeah. And I told you yes, and you're like, well, then maybe I should play.
So and what's funny
I
about this
never
is
said I should play. Let's clarify
You
on
did.
record.
You know you did.
I never said
this
that.
is a good segue, and we can only spend 15 seconds on it. No one ever asks me what my profession is. I'm in IT. Like I work on computers all day long.
No one ever says, "How do you live in a van?"
Dude, I have known people for years and years, and we're sitting there eating, and I'm sushi or whatever we're eating, bologna sandwiches. They're like, "What do you do?" I'm like, and I have to laugh because I'm like, dude, I've known you for 10 years. How do you not know what I do? But I'm not a gamer. Like the last game console I had, I think, was Super Nintendo back.
Whoa.
Seriously?
Yes.
OG.
I don't, but that's only, but
One of my faves.
we only had the
that's
games
rare.
that came with the game. Like, that was it. Like, we had Super Mario Brothers and
There
had
it is.
Excite Bike. That was the only two games we had.
Side bike, that's NES.
I'm telling you, we were poor.
Yeah, but working in IT, being the only person that doesn't play video games, is anybody like, dude, you don't understand this? Like,
Well, I'm also, I work on rock crawlers, and so I would come in the next morning with like grease under my fingernails, and I'd be sitting in a meeting, with 15 other people who were in suits, and because I work for a bank, and people would see my fingernails as I'm like typing, and I'm like, I was working on my truck last night. They're like, what? And so then the next time someone looks at my fingernails cross-eyed, I say, I was spray painting some wrought iron furniture on the patio. Oh, okay, cool. like it's still dirty fingernails. Like, I can't work on my vehicle, but I can paint wrought iron furniture on my patio. Like, that's Birmingham. We were talking about Birmingham earlier. That's Birmingham for you. That's that's but yeah, I work in IT. I think in 2024, big things are going to change. I would like to, not necessarily do something else, but do something else. Maybe do a side gig.
We are in 2024, so
Oh yeah. This is the year.
this is the year
Yeah,
for
this
you,
is the
buddy.
year.
What do you mean?
You got this.
That's an interesting statement. What do you mean by a side gig? Because now we're down that pipeline. What is
Well,
that?
I want to be on camera.
He wants to be paid to be a hype man.
well, we
I
don't
don't-
have paying gigs around
yeah.
here, so
I want to be paid in sweat equity.
Sweatquity.
I don't even know what that
Sweat
means. But no, I think that maybe we should put it out to the general public on what I do, how I can do it. If you've got any ideas, maybe kind of be like
a promoter
I don't know about a promoter. I
on
don't,
stage.
I don't want-
Next on the stage is
I have a friend-
Cinderella.
I have a friend that did that.
Cinderella.
I don't know. I've
You
just
went
got back
with
from
the,
Disney.
You went with the sports.
He can't leave
metal
the- he
bands.
can't leave the Disney.
That is the sports
But D&D
dish
is
metal
too
band.
far.
Why-
If there ever was one, you went with Cinderella.
I just got back from Disney, dude.
Yeah,
But she's metal band. I think it's a default sports answer.
Spinderella was a rapper.
Cinderella was.
She was a rapper. You talking about? But Cinderella was not with the Seven Dwarfs.
No.
That was Snow White. So
yeah.
you don't want to have a dancer named Snow White?
Yeah, he thought we were introducing a band.
Oh,
No,
a hair band.
I was
It
introducing.
is a hair band.
Yeah.
No, I was introducing a stripper.
Well, so you went to Disney World and you came back thinking of strippers?
Not,
doesn't?
Not at all.
Well, I mean,
No.
they did take all of his money, in fairness.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
I mean, it's kind
I
of the
paid
same
for
thing.
Disney in dollar bills.
My fun fact is I never went to Disney World as a child. I only ever went as an adult.
Same.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was
I think it's more
4.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pleasure Island was amazing.
So Pleasure Island is gone.
What?
You probably no. It's Disney Springs now.
Been gone for 10 decades.
I was like, I never
Yeah.
got to experience Pleasure
Oh,
Island.
Pleasure Island was amazing.
It was
Like,
awesome.
We went down there in college, and it was like,
Yeah.
You talk
Yeah.
about like a young person's like that was out
Well,
of control.
It's Disney Springs now?
It's Disney Springs, dude. It was all nightclubs and bars. Like it
Oh,
was
That's
not
all
it
for
was.
kids
It's
at
not
all.
that now.
Yeah, and I feel like my young adulthood is being taken from me because in Auburn, Supper Club is no longer.
It's
like
gone.
it's gone.
It's gone. Yep.
I go down to Panama City Beach. Well, Spinnaker and Club La Vila gone.
Gone. Yep.
It's like, what is this administration doing to my young adulthood? I mean, they are literally just wiping. So now you're telling me, this is news to me, Pleasure Island's gone. So
Right.
now, where is 21-year-old Eric supposed to go?
So what's interesting, what I think is interesting to that point, is that a lot of the stuff that was gritty and edgy and that made us uncomfortable outside of it is being phased away. And it's being phased away because and I'm all for it in the sake of family, and I think that's good.
Yeah.
But what's missing is and this is what's interesting, not to parlay it back, but this is why mountain biking is interesting to me, especially for the young people. No parent can get in the way of protecting that kid because they're going down a mountain fast.
Yep.
Or they're climbing up a hill that's dangerous, or they're dodging a tree or whatever. There's no padding in the world that's going to protect them. So the risk is there. And that risk, I think, is very important in pushing. We all had risk growing, especially us.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
We grew, because Justine is unfortunately younger than we are, so we won't.
Thank you for
Well,
including
okay,
my age. Carry on.
But we grew up with a lot more risk. I mean, there's a lot of risk. Club La Vila was a risk, bro.
Oh yeah.
You could get, I went to a lot of punk shows there, and that's where like the kids from Florida, they gathered to beat the pee out of you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, there were a lot of times that I won't even go there. We'll stop right there. I mean, I'll stop because my story would get,
Not PG.
it definitely wouldn't be PG.
That's on the Patreon, folks.
Yeah.
If you're looking for the Patreon,
Yeah.
we'll share that.
But
If you buy a bike from Build, Tune, Ride, you can get Eric's unfiltered story.
And some of Bugs if you want.
And some of Bugs. That's a new deal. We'll have, if anybody that buys a bike from Build, Tune, Ride, we will have Eric call you and hype you up, followed by
The unedited.
FYP of Bug. Bug will FYP you.
yes.
And that's like something the kids say. I think it means for your page.
oh.
Oh, that is.
So it's something we
Oh, that's a
coulda-
TikTok thing.
Is it?
I think it's all Instagram too. I see it on
Oh, okay.
Instagram
For
sometimes.
you page is a TikTok thing.
I thought it was like, you know how you played
You're
music on your MySpace? Like they might record a voice like, this is Dale's page. You've reached
I
it
can
now, but
definitely
available.
can feel the
Listen to this,
age
like,
in this
These
room.
old dudes know no idea.
Well,
know it.
and so I will tell you, I had a coworker who was like, I'm on social media, I'm on Facebook. I tried to find him, and he goes, well, and I showed him Facebook, and he goes, no, it's not on that one. It's another. And I
Oh,
was like,
that's
so
fantastic.
it's another social media. So we start going down this rabbit hole, and I'm like 10 minutes into this conversation, going, I am determined to figure out. It's like, was it MySpace? What are you on? No, it wasn't MySpace. Turns out it was classmates.com. I was like, bro, that's not social media. And by the way, that was in 2001. 22 years ago, he was on classmates.com.
But is he
Oh
still
my
on
God.
classmates.com?
I don't.
Is
I'm
he
sure
still
he is.
keeping up with it?
Yeah, he was about there. He was.
I think
lit.
what you've just done is you've inadvertently turned classmates.com into something cool because the kids are going to go
They're
look
all
at it and be
going
like,
to it.
we're going back to that because all the old people aren't there anymore.
What is? Oh yeah. What? Yeah. Oh, they will. I routinely talk about the kids. I routinely ask them like, "What's cool? Help keep me cool." Because I can't stay cool.
Yeah,
by myself.
we had Bug was our liaison to the youth, but
Yeah.
Bug is older than us. I
Bug
think
is fantastic.
How old is Bug?
he's not. He's in his 20s,
Oh.
but he acts older than us.
Okay.
Yeah. And frankly, we learned that Bug's interests don't necessarily align with that of the modern kid.
No,
Yeah.
not
Like,
at all.
Bug, you're like a 45-year-old Trump supporter right now. Like, your interests are really just not in the same space as the rest of the world.
Well, I mean, I have, and to his age
Non-political
thing, I
statement.
have people that. So I just had my back fused. Less than 90 days ago. L4L5 in my back, spinal fusion. People think that, I guess because of my attitude, my baby face, they think I'm a lot younger than I am, and I'm not. I'm a lot way old. And they want me to go jump with them. They want me to go down flying down Storyteller, or whatever. It's like, let's go
you
do
can come
Come
with
down
us.
with us. We'll walk.
walk.
We'll walk.
We'll walk it. There needs to be a walking line.
No,
you
it
know?
hurts.
And-
Actually, I fell walking, about blew my shoulder
Well, that's
out.
why I said we needed a handrail all the way down the trail. We literally need a handrail. And it's like, why would you not have a handrail for all the
would you not?
with grip tape? Because you don't want to slip.
No, and you don't want those skater punks up there sliding down it.
No, not no Avril Lavigne, skater boy. No, I don't even know where I was going with that. Other than the fact,
Just
I
being
was
old.
yeah, I'm old.
I mean,
And-
you
and
said-
these kids think I'm not. That's the other thing is like, oh, let's go ride. I'm like, bro, I'm extremely old.
The
Don't-
e-bike has a battery, but my battery's empty.
Yeah, don't be confused by my hoodie that says Slay or It's Lit, because I have hoodies. So this year for the ACA season, I have a whole outfit, like just multiple kits. As a fan, like I'm a fanboy of all of them, and I'm going to. I guess I'm always dressed the part, but I've got some hoodies that are really going to stand out this year because I'm excited about it.
You'll be down for the ACA Blakely race,
I'll be
huh?
here. I've already got my reservation spot. Yeah.
But we'll have to come
I think
kidnap
we're going
you.
to come out. Yeah, I think we should.
Yes.
we should just come out. And
Have you ever been to an ACA race?
I'm not. No.
Okay,
No.
they're lit. They're hype.
Yeah.
What does
ready.
ACA stand for?
Alabama Cycling Association.
Thank you.
And so it's got middle school level and it's got high school level. So you'll got like a 9th grade. Then you've got JV 2, JV 1, and then varsity.
And they're doing that at Blakely?
Yes. And
The
these
first
kids, you would not be able to hang on any of their wheels. None of them.
Most
they're,
of the kids
they're
you
all
can't.
that awesome.
We rode with the kid. What was the young man's name that rode at the Alabama Cycling Classic when we were dressed up like wrestlers and he was
There's
like
two
a
of them.
legit?
Oh, he was killing it.
So Wilder Carell was there and Jake Sosa was there.
It was Wilder Corral
Yeah.
that rode with us.
Yeah. So I bought Wilder's bike, his old Trek. I call it Super Graveler, Super Caliber.
Yeah.
I put the little skinny tires on it because
Yeah.
the doctor told me I couldn't have a gravel bike because it said no more fully rigid bikes. And I was like, okay.
Is that because of your back?
Yeah. I'm not supposed to have any fully rigid bikes. I mean, I wasn't supposed to be on a bike, but when I was in therapy, I was like, I'm going to get on a bike. And so he put me on the upright bike just because he knew that that's where I was headed. And he's like, I want to see you on it before I hear you on it. So we tested it out in therapy. It worked. And then I said, does that clear me to ride on the road? And then I saw that was my physical therapist. And then he pulled restrictions. And then I went to see the doctor last week, and he pulled all the restrictions. He's like, dude, if you go and break this, you're doing a lot more damage to just the stuff that we did. So I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'm not going down Storyteller. I went down Thunder for the first time, and I dabbed like I was in a vape shop. I'm telling you, I probably put my foot down more than a church revival. I mean, we were dancing, and I was just dabbing the whole way down, and I felt amazing by it. Of course, I was also by myself because there was a group going down Storyteller. I was like, I ain't going down Storyteller because there's no handrail. So I'm going to go down Thunder. And when I went down Thunder by myself and met up with them at Lightning. So, yeah.
Do you ride like Lightning regularly?
Oh, I did ride Lightning. It was good. And now that I'm back, I do. I mean, I only rode it once. But I generally, Lightning is one of those cool things you can go park at that entrance and just rip it up.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of Tails and Lightning being right beside each other, is you can get a lot of good session going on in them. And I think that's the idea that we want up in that area. It's just, but then again, you got to go back to the South Trailhead if you want to see people, and that's where you go.
So putting that into perspective, like one of the things that we teased it and talked a little bit about earlier, obviously it's a very big part of it. I mean, how important in your perspective, again, 35 years and then seeing this interaction, not just with the old folks, but with the young kids, the kids getting into sport, how important is community in that side of it? Because it seems like none of this matters. If you're riding by yourself after a while, none of it matters. Like
Right.
It phases out and you're just that grumpy old guy on the trail or old person on the trail that's just bitter and angry and doesn't say hello when Eric rides by and says, hey, how you doing?
I'll have a conversation with myself if you don't say anything.
Right,
to
that's
me.
right.
I'll be like, yeah. So, no, community is what it's all about. I think eventually, if you ride by yourself, you're going to eventually stop riding. And there are times that I get out to the trailhead, and this ain't even Oak Mountain. This is anywhere. I sometimes don't even ride. It's kind of a community. It's almost like a party atmosphere, or it's just a greeting. Say hello. It's an after work function. That to me is one of the things other hobbies don't have, because you can mountain bike every day of the week. I could not off-road every day of the week. I was wrenching Monday through Thursday and heading to the off-road park on Friday and coming back on Sunday. That was cool, but you start poking your eyes out on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, if you don't exert that energy. And that's what mountain bike to me does, is it allows me to get off all that anxiety that the workday has built up. And sometimes just hanging out at the South Trailhead, having great conversation can just as easily get rid of that anxiety.
Yeah, it is interesting because it's almost every other hobby. Golf is a little bit different, but for the majority of them, what did you talk about it before? Like lifetime sports.
It's a lifetime sport.
Yeah, lifetime sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, you literally see kids 2 years old riding Strider bikes. If you're a Lee kid, you're 1 year old and you're riding a pedal bike. Shout out to Michael Lee and his family. And there's a bunch of kids out there these days that don't even know what training wheels are. And the beauty of an e-bike now is their grandparents are out there riding with them. So now you can have potentially a 4-generation group of riders.
Right.
Great grandparents riding e-bikes. I've seen it. It's beautiful. I love that. And there's nothing better than watching family ride together. And I think that's the other difference. You can kind of see it in pickup games of basketball where you can have a span of 80 years all playing together. And that's what you get with mountain bikes, in my opinion. Yeah. You don't really see that in too many other sports or hobbies.
No, I totally agree. I was just going to suggest, you might see I think you see the community during hunting camp.
Yeah.
Like you get it's just a bunch of sweaty dudes around.
Yeah, but the hunting camp is just an excuse for them to go there and be drunk.
That's true.
And hang out.
Right.
But so sometimes it's a trailhead for some people.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
But my point is,
fair.
with hunting though, you only get 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever it might be, depending on where you are in the country, and that's limited. And so there's a limitation. To your point about we ride. I know you guys do, but you grew up here.
Yeah.
We ride in the sweatiest months.
Yep.
Where you literally are taking your life in your own hands because we can't not ride.
Yeah.
And we'll every single season since we started the podcast, there's an episode you'll hear it pop up where Dale and I are just like, I hate mountain. All this stuff is garbage. I'm done with all of it. We just are
So
bitter
it's like our
and angry.
vent
Well, everyone
podcast.
feels that way too. And I see kids want to do that. Kids, once they start being able to drive, their whole attitude and mindset changes. But something.
I thought you were going to say that they get hot because when I was a kid, I'd never remember being hot.
No, I don't. I was.
Right.
You don't. You just go hard.
I had endocrine problems, so yeah, I was cold as crap. I was the coldest person in the room. But I think in every hobby people come and go, but at the same time, kids. I did not get a car when I turned 16, and so maybe that's the reason why I stayed true to a bicycle. Y'all. I don't know if y'all know. Well, I know that y'all have probably met my buddy from Dolphin Island.
Yeah. Chad.
His bicycle is who I used to. I borrowed his Schwinn in my 11th and 12th grade year, and that's what got me to the basketball court or wherever everybody was congregating after school was his bicycle. I kind of confiscated it. I confiscated a friend of mine's from the 80s. It was a specialized stump jumper, and we didn't even know what a mountain bike was. We were on BMX bikes. Everybody was on BMX bikes. And his grandparents had bought him the best bike that they could find, which was a Specialized stump jumper in '86. And he hung it up in his garage because it wasn't a cool BMX bike like we're all riding. So my mom called me. Yeah,
It's kind of funny how it flips back around. There's somebody out at the Rev is bringing a BMX bike from time to time. And
Yeah.
I look at him and I know you rode him, but it's just it's so small. And all I can think about is, man, my knees would have really hurt on this. My knees would just be destroyed right now.
Yeah,
if I
but
was
think I was this tall riding those things. I was 6'4" riding a BMX bike.
it's,
don't know how
it's
you did
silly
that.
to see.
It
At,
is.
at Oak Mountain has a great BMX track. Oak MX is a very cool organization. We need to do more with them. Obviously, I think, in my opinion.
it's
but
a pump track though, right?
it's a BMX
It's a
track.
BMX.
Like it's
track,
a
okay.
it's an awesome BMX track. They constantly are
They have one
improving
of
it.
the best.
They have great
Barry-
races.
Barry's one of the best.
Oh, Barry
BMX
is awesome.
racers in
Yeah.
the world. So
Yeah, and he has a van. He doesn't live in his van though. Shout out to me living in my
he's
van.
also sponsored by them.
Okay, well, so what?
He should live in it. That
Yeah.
he's sponsored by them.
Well, I give him money to put new transmissions in mine.
He just gets a new one.
Yes, yeah, that's how it works. No, I
Do you know what we're talking about? We're talking about Barry Nobles.
Yeah, I know who Barry Nobles
yeah,
is.
yeah. He is. He was Mercedes Benz Vans first ambassador. He was. I think they have a few now.
Yeah, he's got.
So-
He just posted he was doing a backflip in a Santa suit over top of it.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah,
Making that money.
If I was to do a video in a Santa suit, it would just be me trying to get out of bed.
it'd be sweet. You just open the door up
Right.
and you're just sitting in your
Yeah.
recliner.
That's the best I can do. Yeah. I mean, some people, these kids on these mountain bikes, they're so steezy. I mean, they can do all kinds of stuff. And here I am. I can't even get my socks on. Like, I can't even get them. I don't even tie my shoes. I slip them on.
I have I'll bring this up since you're a strong advocate for like the future of
Yeah.
kids. So I brought this up to a lot. I've told Drew this before. So every sport that I've ever played, we never gave any respect to the youth. Like you had to earn your right for us to respect you.
Yeah.
Does that, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I could walk to a basketball court. I could be better than everyone there, but because I was younger, I had to watch.
Well,
So,
right
like-
now, the youth in their mid-teens, they're faster than you.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
they will be faster than you. So,
But I mean, I get told all the time, like, you should like help them. You should do everything for them because of that. But it's like, I have this mentality of like, well, they need to earn some respect for me to give it to them. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, you come from the basketball world where all you got to do is just have a $20 basketball.
Well, that's true too.
Yeah, they're on $5,000 mountain bikes.
I know, but that
so
doesn't
they can't
mean I
earn
should-
that.
No, but they should earn like I'm saying like they can earn amount of respect of like, hey, I'm here to help. Like, let's get this stuff together, or like, let's do this, or like, hey, what are we doing to make the trails better?
Yeah.
I'm not saying they have to come do
Yeah.
trail work, but I'm saying like because they have no car to get there. Like their parents.
No, we have to
help.
go and pick them up.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
I'm not demanding that, but I'm saying like maybe we teach them all of the steps to get to where the
And I think they
places.
do. In our community, I know we have kids that come out for work day. I think they're an integral part of the entire process, not just, hey,
Well,
let's
right, 'cause
go
you have to have
race.
somebody else to be there after
Yeah.
you're done.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to carry the torch forever. Like somebody else can do it.
So a good, and I think he's a good, I'll call him a good friend. Greg Baker is a trail builder, and one of his biggest statements that I would maybe one day adopt as mine if I was a trail builder. He says he's a trail builder. He builds trails for kids and their kids.
Yeah.
So that's the mentality I feel like the community really doesn't need to diminish and really try to bring focus on. It's just
Right.
how do you sustain what it is you're building, not for you, but for the next generation, in 10 years and 20 years. You know, I mean, we've got old trails out there that are 30 plus years old.
Right. That's what always kills me too. Back not to the youth side, but like when somebody's like, "Well, you're gonna damage the trail. Like this dirt was here long before me.
It will
It's gonna
always
be here
be.
long after I'm gone."
It's only that machine world
Yeah.
that changes that.
Yeah.
And what's amazing about something where like Oak Mountain, there's other parks like this, but versus just a pure bike park, is the idea that not only were those trails built by hand by a bunch of really passionate people climbing up and down that mountain, making those trails happen. Then there's some stuff that was brought in that was machined, and like some of the pieces and parts by like Shaggy and those guys that built Tails. And if you haven't read, Tails is a very machine trail. They did a great job designing it to make it feel like single track, machined single track, if you will. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I enjoy some of the stuff like Jekyll and Hyde and stuff.
Yeah.
That's gnarly as get out.
Yes.
But you can feel, at least to me, it feels like someone put it in a Storyteller is that way. I've never ridden it.
Yes.
That's not a machine trail. That's
No.
like a bunch of dudes hiking up a mountain with chainsaws.
And
You know?
it's a sustainable trail. I mean, it's going to basically be a trail that if no one touches it for 4 months and the rain comes down on it, it will still be there because it wasn't machine built. It's not 4 feet wide.
Right.
You'll be able to rip it up.
The other thing is though, like I'm so weird because I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have to ask that. Like I shouldn't give them respect immediately. But I also am also like, well, I don't owe the dudes that built this trail anything either. You know, like they're gone. Like I'm here. Like I kind of just live in my own little bubble when it comes to that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's a sports management
it is
bubble.
A sports thing. It is. I think it is seriously because I was ingrained to like growing up like so hardened with traditional sports of like, dude, I'm here to whip your ass whether you're before me or after me. Like that's the goal, you know. So it's like,
well, yours ultra competitive.
That
and see,
too,
I don't have a
yeah.
competitive bone in my body. I would actually shy away from competition. I just soon enjoy it and not compete against it.
right.
Which a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people actually have fussed at me and wanted me to be competitive. I'm like, no.
Which is dumb.
Yeah. If you want someone who brings negative energy, then try to get me to do something that I don't want to do. Because that's when you will get the wrong person. You don't want that guy. You don't want that guy.
I mean, listen, I've said it 1,000 times. Like Justina knows. I mean, she's in the same business. We work in a highly competitive industry. Like we are fighting. I say it a lot. Said it last time. We're fighting for our existence every single day. Like I'm fighting to not just. I have to stay creatively relevant. I have to stay financially relevant. I'm the owner of a business, so I have to be. I've fiduciary responsible. I have a lot.
Yeah.
So the last thing I want to do is go kill myself. But what I will do is be competitive with myself on the trail. But I don't necessarily. But what I do enjoy is watching my slaves compete.
Yes.
Like Dale Boyd from
yes.
my gladiators.
Or indentured servants.
Yeah, I meant more gladiator style. I'm going back to Romans, that side of things.
Yeah, right.
But
I'm
like
a
seeing
father
them,
of a murdered daughter.
yeah,
husband of a
he
murdered
walks
wife.
by the tall grass and runs his hand
And
right
I'll
by
have
it.
my vengeance.
In Elysium, and I'm Joaquin Phoenix, weird face, and then doing the thing. But anyway,
Yes. Gladiator.
so I get your point. Let me ask this and dodge it if you need to. I
Okay.
think you're pretty good. You're an artful dodger, we might say.
Oh.
This is a hot topic. What is your take on like the organizations that are, they accept our
letters?
money
Yeah.
and then they take money and then allegedly they do a lot of stuff. What is
The government?
specifically to mountain biking.
More localized.
What is your take on that? I'm not asking you to trash anything, but like we struggle. I personally struggle, and I've heard other people in the mountain bike community struggle with the idea of like, oh, I joined an IMBA chapter.
Okay.
I've given them money. Where's my money go? And that side of things. I mean, I'm not asking you to
Well,
put yourself on a bad spot.
No,
but
no,
artful
I will
dodge it if
answer
you want
that.
to. Artful dodge it.
Somebody made a comment the other day, and I responded to it with exactly what I mean. It's kind of, hey, let's have events, because oftentimes that's what people say. If I join this club X, whatever, where does my money go? What do I get in return for it? And I'm like, well, I can't speak for any club, and I've been a member of a handful of them. But it's one of the things that I've done this past year is gone to the club president and the club, I guess, board of directors, and it's like, hey, let's have some events. And let's have club events. Let's have free events where the only way that you can participate in these events is if you're a club member. And, oh, by the way, let's not charge $15 to shuttle. Let's say it's free to members. And that boosted membership because because we had people who were paying $3 $15 a time shuttles. That's more than a membership.
Yeah, just join.
Why would you just join?
Right.
So it was $15 or free to members, and they still did the $15. It's like, cut that out and make them members. And it's like, okay, let's have members only rides. And so that was like members only rides. You know what you get with a members only? A jacket.
I was about to
I was
say a
gonna say
cool
get a
jacket, boy.
But only certain demographic of our listeners
Get
will
creative with it. And that's one of the things that I was, our fearless president allowed me to do this past year. And it overwhelmed me because I think I had 5 events where it was just like, okay, I need help and there's no one around to help, but it worked.
But that lies the problem, right? So one of the challenges with this, and I hear it a lot, is that we have money coming in. Oh, he's taking the Joe Rogan pee break. Mm-hmm. We have money coming in to this organization.
Yeah.
I don't know where it goes. And then sometimes, in your case, you built up more events, but then you needed help, and there wasn't a way to necessarily sometimes money facilitates an ease and stuff. Like you could buy a product as opposed to spending more man hours or labor hours on something. So that side of things happens. I think where it's tricky and challenging is when we start looking at the parent side of things, when you go all the way to the top. And, I'm critical of it because I think you should be critical of it. I support it. I pay my dues and I'm all about it.
Yep.
But what I would like to see is a way for and it's hard to run a big organization, but better communication down. And so in the case of like an IMBA thing, I'll call him out. We had Philip on the show, who's president of Sorba.
Yep.
Love Philip to death. I think he is what needs to be happening inside of that space.
100%.
Love him.
Yep.
But on the IMBA side, I got an email that just said, "Dear insert name."
Okay.
That's what it said. They didn't fix it.
So they didn't even they
It
didn't even
trigger
search
right.
your name.
It didn't work. It literally said, "Dear insert name." And for me, not that it's that big a deal, but from an organizational standpoint, nothing makes you feel less detached
Yep.
than being insert name.
Yep. I completely agree with that. I haven't I'm not on the national scene, even though I go to regional events, and I am not a board member. And one of the reasons why I'm not a board member is because I want to do whatever the hell it is I want to do without having any repercussions. So I can't really speak to IMBA. I think IMBA is necessary for things like things we don't want to talk about, like insurance purposes.
Sure. We just had to deal with it on our own, so it's always fresh. I guess where I'm going with it is arguably, I think what would be really interesting as a thought experiment would be take somebody like you, right, who is a international man of mystery, right, but take somebody like you and make you not on a board, because I don't think a board's right for you.
Nah,
but what I
don't
do
need a
think is
board.
interesting is if you're a brand ambassador.
Okay.
So now all of a sudden you have a brand ambassador that's out there in the world, that's going around and can say these certain things and has a little bit of like, hey, you know what? Here's what's cool. Because what that opens up is real, because you're having real conversations with real human beings, with the young people who down the road are going to, let's just say hypothetically, the rule of 80-20 exists. So out of 100 kids, 20 of them are going to make enough money to support IMBA.
Yep.
It's going to be more than that.
Right.
But of that 20, 5 of them are going to give more than the $50.
Oh, yeah.
5 of them are going to end up being the people that are big sponsors, or they contribute more time.
Or future presidents of their organization.
Exactly.
Well, they are going to be future presidents. That's the thing about it, and that you do not want to eliminate them because they are they are the future. It's funny you mentioned being a brand ambassador or an ambassador at all. I get that all the time, almost weekly. People want me to be an ambassador or something, but I'm like, I don't know how to sell myself. Unless I just work in the streets, but that's the only way I know how to sell myself.
That's why he lives in a van. So
That's why I live in a van.
Navigate away from it.
I don't have candy in my van. I have Dr. Peppers. I don't
cool with that,
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, one's a pepper, always a
Getting a
pepper.
different demographic.
Yeah.
This time.
He holds Tums.
Oh God, Tums. That's exactly.
Shakes
And
Tums.
people always
Werther's
ask me
Originals.
about I have Tums.
Tums and Werther's.
Upset. Yeah.
But one of the things that we talked about, and I'm going to shamelessly peddle it. That wasn't a tee up, but I'm going to use it.
Do
as
it.
one.
Tee it up.
Is that we are going to actually have? We've been playing with the name, and it'll probably change 20 times. Last we joked about it. It was, where in the world is Eric Hagan? If you remember the where in the world.
Where is he? Where is he?
I personally, my favorite is In the Eric Tonight.
In the Eric Tonight.
Oh.
I can feel it.
Hagan in there.
Hagan in there.
That one's good.
You've been working on that one, haven't you?
No. So, a buddy of mine came up with that one. So I had cancer. I have had.
Boy, that's a mic drop.
Yeah.
Stop talking. Everybody stop.
Oh,
Could
you're
have led
dead.
with that.
Thank you for
an hour
coming
and a
to
half
the
ago.
show. Enjoy the rest of your
If
year.
you know me, then you know that I have had all kinds of major medical problems, and a lot of the cool things was I had throat cancer, had HPV throat cancer. We're not going to get into that, but parents, please vaccinate your kids, regardless of what religion you believe in. Vaccinate them. But one of my friends was like, Hagan in there, because people were saying throat punch, and that was with a hashtag, and he hashtagged Hagan in there, and Matt Myrick, Busted Knuckle Films, which if huge YouTube celebrity, huge. He did that. That was him. So we could use that. I don't think he's patented it.
I think hanging in there
Hanging in there.
is awesome.
Hanging
Pretty
in there, yeah.
fantastic.
I like to use shunt, which
I was
shunt.
I thought you were gonna say shunting like your daddy.
It scares people because they don't know what shunt is,
Yeah, that's
and it's
true.
like, oh, shunt. And then when I say that, it's like, it's that's my shunt. It's a medical device. It keeps me alive. It keeps my cerebral spinal fluid I was leaking cerebral spinal fluid. I laid flat in a hospital bed for 6 months.
When was this?
2008. I started
What?
So I had a pituitary tumor removed when I was in high school here in Mobile at South Alabama, University of South Alabama, and they went craniotomy. So they went through my head. They pulled a third of my skull off and went deep in, grabbed the tumor, size of a lemon, got it out. Oh yeah, on my pituitary gland. So your pituitary gland is the size of a black-eyed pea, and the tumor was like a size of a lemon.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Got hit by a car when I was 7. Turns out that messed my back
Wait,
up.
can we? Let's wait. Let's go chronologically
Yeah.
because
I'm
you just
bouncing.
dropped.
I'm bouncing all
you,
over.
You
aren't
just
I?
dropped like Bomb
Yeah,
City,
boom,
USA.
boom,
I mean,
boom.
it was multiple.
I think the long story short is I'm happy to be here, and that's the
Yeah,
thing.
that's
It's like,
his energy.
how
Hanging in there.
many times should I have died? And I won't even get into the spiritual part about that because I have sat in the bed and had very big spiritual moments. Kind of like there's a picture here that looks like it has some type of universe in it or something.
Yeah, it's a heart I made for my mom, and I made an extra one.
Yeah, but it's a universe of a heart.
That's correct.
And
It's
that's-
the entire love of space.
It is. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So use the positive energy. Is always been kind of, as an adult at least, is kind of how I live life and see life. Be the energy that you want other people to give back to you. So, no, I've had a lot of medical problems. I mean, I have had twice where the doctor has come to my family and been like, might want to get his affairs in order.
Holy smokes!
It's been that. They finally stopped my leaking cerebral spinal fluid, only to release me, and I came back about 3 weeks later with a rare form of mold in my cerebral spinal fluid.
What?
Yeah. So I sat about another 2 months in the neuro ICU at UAB, and that was when they were just like, he's dead. No one's ever survived this. No one's ever left UAB with this rare form of mold. So, true story, I was actually at my neurosurgeon's visit about a year or so ago, and I was asking her, because I've had bacterial meningitis 3 times. So I was like, could I be a candidate for like CTE because I've had bacterial meningitis 3 times? She goes, I have no clue. I don't know. And I was kind of taken aback by her just nonchalant. And then she was typing on the computer. She stops and she looks at me. She's like, no one's ever survived 3 times of bacterial meningitis, so we don't have data on you.
Holy smokes!
Yeah. So, yeah, it's like typically people die the first time they've had bacterial meningitis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's for that check that you looked at.
Exactly.
That's what killed.
And
me.
actually, so I was in 4-H here, and one of my friends in 4-H, while we were in 4-H down here, he got meningitis and passed away in like less than 24 hours.
Yeah, that's what got Dawson when he passed away. Same thing.
Yeah.
So I mean that I should have led with that question.
Yeah, that's a
because
good
I feel
spin
like,
on it all, ain't it?
Well, no, it just puts everything. Actually, it's an interesting way to tell a story. It certainly puts everything in. I think in a much more interesting perspective of like. It's not that explains a lot, but good golly, that explains a lot.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I have been in rooms with CEOs, big prominent people that everyone's like kind of afraid to and tiptoe around. I don't tiptoe around anybody. Like everyone has to sit on the toilet the same way. It's regardless of
Like we all sit to pee, right? Everybody in this room sits to
everyone
pee.
sits to pee.
We all
yes.
sit to pee.
Yeah.
We all
all
sit
of
to
us.
pee.
Right. And go
I thought
boom
so.
boom
I
whatever.
did when I just went in there.
Yeah.
And I just did.
Yeah. That's why the toilet seat's always down. It's never up.
We just lie. We're just lying to ladies the entire
We
time.
are, 100%.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I was just waiting for someone to admit it.
Do you lift the seat up whenever?
Yeah,
Okay.
just so people would think a man was in there before me.
And you have boots on your front porch?
Yes.
Yeah. To like keep the burglars away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then they have
exactly
like
it.
spider webs in them and junk. That is where the bees hang out. They have like is in those boots on your.
That's the
It's in
bee's
the
knees.
boots.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so
I can go on and on about. I can just ad lib. We can just talk about boots on porches.
But that's why I think we have to have our own segment
Yeah,
going
this is where we're
forward.
going back to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Hagan in there.
Hagan in there.
I like that a lot.
Which
Who
will be
knows where I'm going to be? Because honestly, in 2024, I think I'm headed out to Utah in January, and I work on the road. I work out of a recliner. It's fun to enter into meetings where everyone's like just stressed out at their desk, and I'm in a Starbucks. Like when we turn our cameras onto our Teams meetings, and they're like, "Wait, you're in a Starbucks?" Like, yeah. That's no one said that I couldn't work in a Starbucks.
Right. That's right.
Am I at work?
It's not. Yeah, it's not in the handbook that says I can't do that, or at a state park, wherever. So yeah, I have a good life. Absolutely, it's not for everybody, and sometimes it's not even for me. But I enjoy it. It's fun.
I think the best part is we get a little glimpse of it.
Yeah.
I think it'll be fun. The goal will be just to drop those into the show at some point. We'll see what they are. I don't want them built out. I don't want them just like this show. It can't be overly produced. Can't be overly planned. It's just got to be as raw as humanly possible.
I was given a GoPro at a race up in Jasper, of all places. At one point, Jasper was trying to get mountain bike trails, and I was all for it. So we had a Hammies race. Their local government was all for it, put together this whole crap. I don't even know what it was called. But someone handed me, I would guess I was kind of like an MC, a GoPro on a stick and just like walk around with it. And it ended up being like an amazing 5 minutes because I did it like all day long, and they were having a Hammies race, and it was gold. The way that they edited it was just absolutely awesome. So I've emceed a bunch of stuff. And when I go to rock bouncing events, I used to be the guy holding signs on the side of the trail, but they started handing me mics. And I'm not really a play-by-play guy. I don't do that, but I'm a good color commentator. Yeah, so like you have a professional announcer and you have like a professional play-by-play guy, and then I'm kind of like off to the side just being color commentary. And that's what I do at the rock bouncing events as well. Just one-line zinger kind of things. And I don't know. People say I'm quick, but they obviously have never seen me run. I am not quick. They've never seen me bike.
You should go by Run and Try. They could take care of you.
Oh.
Hey,
Oh,
Justina
look at
getting
that.
one in
Look at
there.
you. Yes.
Teeing it up.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else you need to shamelessly plug or fit into the old internet sphere of magical influence?
No. I mean, I think, where in the world is Eric Hagan? Because that's the other thing is like
A rambling man.
I'm going to leave here and I'm going to be somewhere tomorrow morning that's going to be extremely fun. There's some stuff going down. It'll be after the fact. It's at Coldwater, so I'm going to be at Coldwater tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm headed there after that. And probably tonight I will stay at a Love's somewhere outside of Birmingham, or maybe outside of Coldwater. Who knows? I love traveling. I have gone across the country 5 times.
That's
Wow.
fantastic.
43 states. If people want to leave, I have only ever been to Canada. Never been at any other country. And I probably won't ever go to Europe because there are so many cool places to go in this country. So hadn't been on a plane in a decade, so
That's wild.
Get yourself a van. Maybe my van. Take
Some
my
Dr.
van.
Peppers.
Get some Dr. Peppers.
Tums. The Tums for the ladies.
Tums for the ladies, Dr. Peppers for the adolescents. Why Tums for the ladies?
I don't know where you're going with
I
that.
don't
Do
know,
the
but
ladies
you
have
rolled
upset
with it.
stomachs?
That was fantastic.
Tum, tum, tum.
Depends on what age ladies you're picking up in
I'm
the van.
saying.
I guess.
I mean, we are plus 40.
Well, Drew
And
said
most are
Werther's,
demographic.
so apparently I'm trying to pick up old ladies.
You guys
You should
actually
also keep
speak.
your-
There's nothing wrong with a good Werther's, sir.
Yeah,
I-
but nothing got you caught faster than the candy jar that had the glass lid that the Werthers were in.
Have you seen the meme where it's got the little strawberry things where it's
Oh, dude,
like
those were
no
good
one has ever sold these, but they show up magically in a dish.
I've never seen them sold
I've
before.
never seen a sold anywhere.
I've never seen them sold, but they're in every grandmother's
I bet you they-
house in a dish.
They know
Maybe
where
a
to find them.
leprechaun sells
Once you
them.
turn 65, that's what you wake up.
It
It's
is
a
weird.
government program, actually.
Elf on the Shelf brings grandmother's
It's Life Alert.
dishes.
It's not Elf on the Shelf. It's Life Alert.
Life alert.
Help! I'm out of strawberry chews, and I can't.
Hit the
Did
button.
you fall,
That's
or
actually
do you need
the
more
Yes.
shoes?
Yes, I'm out of strawberry
that comes
chews.
in the secret pamphlet you get with the life alert.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's too good.
Well done.
What else do you want to know from me? Is the question.
Well, no, I'm
gonna
going to
bring
save
it.
it. We're
Yeah,
going
this
to
isn't your
get
only.
more out of
This
it.
isn't
Oh,
your only hot seat time.
I'm going to have so much. I mean, it's you can ask me questions now, and I'm going to have more because it's really situational.
Yeah.
Period.
That's kind of what we were thinking with the hanging in there, or was that what it was?
Hagan.
Hagan.
That's why I
in
said.
there.
It's my last name.
I
Hagan.
know.
Hagan
Did I
in
not
there.
You did not say it
enunciate?
right. You
I
did
didn't
not.
enunciate.
You said
right?
hanging.
You said
Enunciate.
hanging. He's not hanging. He's
Whatever.
hanging.
You can say that part.
Hagan in there. Hagan in there. It's
But that's what we're trying to do.
I
Is
need
like
a picture
bring
of
the
you,
energy.
like a cat on that poster, the hanging in there poster.
Please and thank you.
Oh, I can't.
Are you hanging on
No,
to
it's
like the
called
wall?
Photoshop.
I have
honey.
horrible finger strength.
No, it's Photoshop.
It's Photoshop.
We just ring
Can
it,
we
man.
get like what is it? AI? Can something like that? Can we get
Allen
that?
Iverson.
Yeah, that's what I always think too.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
trying
AI.
to get that.
Yeah.
Every time somebody says AI,
Well, so
I'm like,
I'm 5'7". I know you probably can't see that but so my family, everyone was tall. Both of my brothers were 6'5". My dad was 6'3". My mom's brother was 6'2". I have a sister that's 6 foot. I had a pituitary tumor, but up
yeah.
until like 8th grade, I was always the biggest in class. So I dominated everything. I could barely touch the rim in middle school, and I knew that I was going to be somebody. And here I am, not being anybody.
Living your
I think
best
you're
life.
being everybody, sir.
You're being everybody.
You're
go.
like the best example of a human on the planet.
Oh, thank you. That's
it is funny to see the looks on everybody's face when we say Eric's coming. Like they light up. It's for real. It's
Yeah.
true. It's the
Yeah,
way.
I mean,
Yeah.
you got to think, man. That's what I was saying in the beginning. Is like it's the reputation. Your reputation transcends just a guy with a bullhorn into something like once they know you, everybody connects to it. So
That's humbling. It's the everyone there is what I look forward to. So I think it's definitely a two-way street. It's because if I'm going to a parking lot by myself, or if I'm going to a trailhead by myself, ain't nothing fun about that. I don't have a good time by myself. I enjoy seeing everyone there.
yeah,
And it doesn't even matter how cool you are. You could be the weakest person, the weakest rider. I had my mom as a school teacher in 5th grade, and one of the things that she thought she was getting over on me, she sat me because I would not shut up, kind of like this interview. She moved me beside the shyest girl in the classroom, thinking that that's it. She ain't going to talk to him. In less than 30 minutes, that girl was getting in trouble with me. That's that's the energy, I guess, that I really, not only do I bring, but that's what I want everyone to enjoy, not just me. So I love a good time, and as long as it's before 8,
yeah.
yes,
We have a
yeah.
cutoff too.
yeah. I'm good.
Well, I know we were honored that you came to Jank Fest. Like that was it legitimized us
Yeah.
even further. We're like,
Straight up.
dude, we
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
have Eric here.
And that was one of the I was going to miss it because and sometimes the Lord intervenes and rains out one stage enduros at
It's
Coldwater.
not going to rain out Jank Fest.
Well,
in the
We'll
rain.
do it
didn't.
anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, make it rain, baby! I used to have a sign that said "Make it rain." And that was a rock bouncing event, though. That was, no, it's I was like, look, I've got to go to this, and I originally told I was like, I'm not going to Jank Fest, and that sucks. And then other people that were coming to Jank Fest were messaging me, asking me if they were going to, if they was like, oh, were you going to go? And that's why I finally, after like the third one, I was like, yeah, I was like, I had to cancel. And luckily, they got to postpone it, so I also got to MC that event as well.
Well done.
Yes, love it,
Nice.
love it.
Fairy tales. All right. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this part of the show up. Thank you, Eric, for hanging out with us. Truly appreciate
My
it, as
pleasure.
we've said.
My pleasure.
Look
Thank you.
forward to Hagan in there. Like I'm legitimately excited about it. Scott Vickery, I know you listen to this. I think that you guys, if you're smart, you should co-sponsor that scenario with us and slap him in one of those badass vans.
Or get me a job at Fox.
Or get him a job at Fox where he also still has to do Hagan.
He
We have
does
under
IT.
contract.
Remember,
Scott
he
Vickery.
does IT.
Yeah.
He can take care of you.
Shout out to our boys. I'm just saying, like, I think Eric is the ultimate hype man. I think he's a fantastic human being, and I think he brings a value that as a person in advertising is very hard to come by. You're the OG influencer, my man.
Yes, thank you. That means a lot.
So with that said, just remember what Dale Boyd says.
Be the energy you want to be. Is that what you said?
I think the Army said that.